In fact, this belief that you need to do tedious exercises is part of being stuck in rehab purgatory. Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about a concept called rehab purgatory, something I've been thinking a lot about, and I've been talking about it a lot on my Instagram. So if you're not following me there, go ahead, pause this video, go follow me on Instagram, and then come back to make sure you watch this video because I have a special gift for you. Now that gift is actually a discount to my 7-day Breathwork challenge called the Breathwork Breakthrough. This is normally $67. There's going to be a discount code that I'll be mentioning at some point during this video that will allow you to get this for only $5. So the link to that is down in the description. And if you listen for that discount code, you'll be able to get it for just $5. I'll be offering this for a limited time. So make sure you watch this video and take action by going to that link, applying that discount code, and taking the challenge for yourself. So before we get into exactly what this rehab purgatory is, let's start off by talking about why we care in the first place. All right, so if you're on YouTube right now searching for answers to chronic pain, muscle imbalances, movement-related issues, nervous system regulation-related issues, or anything like that, you might be making mistakes that are actually keeping you stuck in this rehab purgatory. And unfortunately, if you stay stuck in rehab purgatory, you're just going to perpetuate this cycle and fail to be moving and feeling the way that you want. But if you're able to avoid these mistakes and take the right action that we're going to cover a little later in this video, you're going to be able to avoid getting stuck here in rehab purgatory, and you'll be on your way to feeling better and moving better. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what this is first, and then we'll talk about what we can do about it. So rehab purgatory is this place or phase that we get stuck in when trying to recover from long-term chronic pain, muscle imbalances, or other movement-related issues. And the way that you'll know that you're here is if you've experienced a plateau over at least a 3-month time frame. You're probably spending about 80% of your time doing rehab, restorative, corrective, or mobility type exercises, and you get into what I call the rehab cycle of death, where you go and you find an exercise, it works for 1 to 2 sessions, but then when you're doing it the 3rd or 4th time, it actually stops working, or it actually starts to make you feel worse. So if this sounds like you, I'm willing to bet that you've tried many things. You've probably gone to multiple PTs, chiropractors, maybe even alternative treatments like massage therapy or acupuncture, and really the same thing happens here. You might have this temporary relief or reduction in symptoms, but then in a short period of time, it either A, stops working, or B, actually starts making you feel worse. And when you're stuck in this cycle, what you're usually thinking is that you haven't found the right exercise, so then you go back into this cycle of going on social media and searching to try to find the right exercise, or you start to think that you're doing it wrong and you're doubting your ability to actually do the exercise correctly, or you go back to Google and you start searching for other root causes that you think that you need to find in order to get the perfect answer to then actually be able to heal. Now, the good news is that if this sounds like you can actually get over your chronic symptoms and be moving and feeling the way you want without having to do these tedious exercises. In fact, this belief that you need to do tedious exercises is part of being stuck in rehab purgatory. And what you've probably been thinking is that the way you were moving in the past or some injury that wasn't rehabbed properly now requires you to do some sort of special exercise. But actually focusing on these exercises is actually going to distract you from addressing the root cause, which is actually your brain. So what you're feeling in your body, the tension, pain, symptoms, movement limitations, tends just to be a symptom of the way that your brain is making connections through wiring of its neural pathways. So we have parts of the brain that fire up in response to fear and threat and produce pain. And when we're in this chronic situation, we actually get that part of the brain to start to wire into other parts of the brain so that when we're talking about our emotions, our thoughts, movements that might not feel safe, or many other contexts, the brain will actually learn to produce more pain. So you can think of this with the saying that circuits that wire together fire together. And unfortunately, when we have increased connections between the parts that are associated with pain and all those other parts, then we can produce pain and symptoms and movement limitations across a wide variety of contexts. Now, the good news here is if we take a brain-first approach, we can actually interrupt this cycle and we can get you out of rehab purgatory and back to a state of freedom in terms of the movements that you're able to do, and you'll be able to do those movements without pain. But if we don't approach this from a holistic brain-first point of view and instead just focus on those body symptoms, then we're going to stay stuck in this cycle. So to help you start to rewire these neural pathways, to weaken those connections between pain and those other areas of the brain, what I want you to do is go down to the link in the description and get my Breathwork Breakthrough 7-Day Challenge. By using Breathwork, we can actually switch off the circuits that are associated with pain and anxiety, and we can weaken those connections and allow other connections to be built. Now, because I want you to be able to do this and get success with this, I want you to use the coupon code BETTERBREATH to go from that initial $67 investment to only a $5 investment today, but this is going to be for a limited time, so make sure to go and do that right now. Now, I know if you take this Breathwork challenge that you're going to immediately see some positive changes. For me, when I discovered Breathwork and learned to approach it in the way that I teach inside of this challenge, I was able to reduce pain and anxiety right away. And I've had students that have taken this and had some very similar results as well. But unfortunately, just focusing on this Breathwork is not going to alleviate this cycle of being stuck in rehab purgatory alone. We need a more holistic view that starts to address all these areas. So whether it's how we're moving, how we're regulating our emotions, what we're thinking, mindfulness techniques, there's a lot of things that can come into play here. And the more angles that you can approach this from and start to get those new connections to be built and those old connections to weaken up, the more thorough and better your healing process is going to be. Now, if this all sounds like you and you want to take this a step further, I will be putting together a group coaching program that's going to launch in the third quarter of this year. If you want to get on the list for that, send me an email at greg@chaplinperformance.com or check the link in the description here. Periodically, I will be updating a link to the actual sales page there where you can fill out an application. We'll do a call and figure out if you're a good fit for the program. Now, last but not least, what I want to address is a question that probably a lot of you will have, which is, well, what if I do have some sort of a structural issue that's causing some of my pain or movement limitations? And in a lot of cases, there is a structural or functional element that's affecting the movement side of this that is not just related to pain. But if those connections between the pain areas of your brain and all those other areas are constantly causing symptoms, then it's going to be really hard for you to know what kind of activities are actually moving that physical aspect in the right direction. Once we can weaken those connections between the pain areas of the brain and those other areas, then it becomes a lot more clear what the effect of the exercises are. And that way we can actually get good data that we can use as a way to guide us through the process of actually effectively working on the physical side without just perpetuating this cycle of being stuck in rehab purgatory. Okay guys, so that does it. Thanks a bunch for watching. Once again, put in that discount code. Go ahead and get that Breathwork Breakthrough 7-Day Challenge. If you do it, I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your first Breathwork breakthrough, and I want to hear how this is impacting that pain, that anxiety, and that ability to move. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.